you haven't heard by now, Jimmy Butler is on his way to the warm weather of Miami. Throughout his career, he's played in very cold places: Minnesota, Chicago, Philadelphia. Don't really blame him turning down the Sixers' max contract. Big blow for the Sixers after the trades they made to acquire him, but they were actually able to adapt extremely well to the situation and end up with a roster that I believe is actually better than last year's roster. I know you probably won't hear that much, but I do value team chemistry. I do value individual player growth, maybe more than other individuals do. So let's take a look at their starting five. We have Ben Simmons. Will he shoot outside of the paint? Probably not. At least he knows he can't shoot. Maybe this offseason he'll work on his shot. I really hope so. Keep in mind he is extremely young, so another offseason can really help him increase the mental aspect of his game, because I've seen him shoot threes in warm-ups, in practice, but he just doesn't shoot them in the game. Will he finally take another step further this season? I do believe so. I think we'll see even a better Ben Simmons, even if he's not shooting outside of the paint. Only his third season playing. That's crazy. Next up, we have Josh Richardson. Josh Richardson, actually one of my favorite players. I believe earlier in the season, the Timberwolves were trying to acquire Josh Richardson from the Heat for Jimmy Butler, but the Heat were not willing to give up Josh Richardson. This is when he was playing out of his mind. He was having a very, very strong breakout season, continuing what he did last year. But towards the middle and end of the year, he was just not playing as good as he was. That's why he fell off of a lot of people's radars. But keep in mind, Josh Richardson plays some very solid defense. Maybe not on the same level as Jimmy Butler, but he is younger, and he shoots a higher three-point percentage than Jimmy Butler. For his career, he's slightly under 37%, while Jimmy Butler is slightly under 34%. Slightly above 34%. So Josh Richardson can hit a couple more threes for them, can still play some solid defense as well, and he's on a very, very nice contract for the Sixers. That's the only way they can afford everybody. Ben Simmons still on his rookie deal. Josh Richardson on a very nice, affordable contract. And then, of course, Tobias Harris. He got maxed out. He's making some big money out there right now. Is he worth that contract? Most likely not, but somebody in the league was going to offer him a max. The Sixers decided to hold on to him. His three-point shooting from the corners, definitely a valuable asset for the team. I need him to play better defense if the Sixers are going to take another step forward. Overall, they should be very solid defensively with Embiid, Horford, Josh Richardson, and Simmons. Can Harris, carry his own weight? Last season, he shot very well on the Clippers from three, but he saw almost a 10-point decline when he was on the Sixers. So I'm hoping this change of scenery after another NBA offseason, he can really increase that percentage, because if he does, wow, that will open up so much space for everybody else. I think he's still getting used to the situation, trying to figure out his role. Next up we have is Al Horford. One big criticism I see of Al Horford online is that he's 33 years old and he got a 4-year contract. If I'm Al Horford, I'm very happy. That's probably the last big contract I'm going to get in the NBA. He did not want a 2-year. He didn't even want a 3-year contract with other teams. He wanted to get that nice 4-year contract, and congrats to him. What I like about Al Horford is his contract's not completely insane. It's not completely unreasonable. The big unfortunate side is that he will be 36 by the time that it is over. He just turned 33, okay? So if you see that online, he just turned 33 last month. So by the time his contract's over, I believe he'll be like late 36, right? So not too great at that age, but Al Horford's game has changed drastically. He can be a nice shooter, and in the playoffs, we see playoff Al Horford. Playoff Horford. He's a great teammate as well. Like I mentioned earlier, I do value team chemistry quite a bit. Jimmy Butler and Embiid together had me nervous, because if they clash together Embiid could request a trade offer. That's something that did concern me about the Sixers in the past. But now that Butler is gone, I think the chemistry here between this starting five is actually quite good, especially because they have a nice vet in there, 2 up and coming stars, and 2 very, very solid role players as well. It's weird calling them role players, but you get what I'm trying to say. Next up we have is Embiid. I think the best thing that could have happened to Embiid last season was him getting absolutely destroyed by the claw. Oh my gosh. I remember this. I felt so bad for Embiid, but I truly think this will be one of the best things to happen to Embiid. The fact that he got his hopes and dreams absolutely shattered in front of Kawhi. He was this close to making the finals, to being up against the Bucks, to maybe having a chance against the damaged Warriors. That is going to be something that Embiid is thinking about probably every single day. And next season, we will see if Embiid uses this disappointment to motivate him to work even harder, to work more than he's ever worked before in his life. If he doesn't come out next season and have an MVP level season, if he doesn't show it in the playoffs, I will have really long-term concerns about Embiid. I will start questioning his passion. Next season is really going to be where we see what kind of player Embiid truly is. He's a clown on the outside. He makes jokes. But who is he really as an NBA player? That's what we'll find out next season. And maybe that moment going down to the claw will be the turning point in his career. Mentioning the Bucks, they didn't really get much better. They lost Brogdon. So that opens up a little bit of a window for the Sixers if they clash in the conference finals. Oh, that's going to be such an awesome matchup. That's going to be great. Last time these two paired up, or not last time, but I don't remember exactly when this was, but my gosh, was it a battle between two monsters. If they meet in the playoffs and we get a historic showdown, that is going to be a rivalry to watch for the next 10 years and even longer potentially. It's going to be amazing. Of course, the Raptors could retain Kawhi. I still don't know. We haven't heard much from that yet. So that could change things up. But if Kawhi leaves, expect to see the Bucks and Sixers really, really holding down the Eastern Conference for probably a while. Also, they do have a couple nice young pieces in Jonah Bolden. They even have Zaire Smith, who I actually personally, I've been keeping an eye on. I like this kid. I think he can ball. I thought he was going to take the role of J.J. Redick this year, but now that they have Josh Richardson, they can even develop him a little bit slower, maybe coming off the bench. Could be a nice little X factor for the Sixers. Really nice upside and really not much downside, right? He's just going to be coming off the bench anyways. So that's overall the thoughts we have here on the Philadelphia 76ers. One concern I've noticed people have is the fact that they're really, really big. They'd be great in the 90s and the 80s. But in the Eastern Conference, that's probably less of a concern. It looks like the NBA might actually be slowly changing as well. We see some big men returning. Maybe if they pair up against the Rockets in the finals or another small ball team, that could cause them issues. But hey, they'll just probably slide back to Tobias to the 4 and figure something else out. That could be another problem for the Sixers. But overall, I think they'll embrace their identity and maybe even, just roll with it, do the best they can, adapt to small ball when they do play against it. But yeah, that'll be it for today. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. We have more content coming out, and bye.